Hello and welcome to another Retro Course Chinese knockoffs, and I'm not too sure whether we can actually call this a knockoff. Who am I kidding? Of course it's a knockoff. It's full of emulators which they've stole off the internet, and this actual design kind of appeared after SNK announced the Neo Geo Mini. But this is meant to be a quality product, so fingers crossed that this is going to be something worthwhile buying. It's certainly not cheap either. I'll put the details in the video description down below. So as you can see, we got the actual main console here. You got a joystick, your main buttons, you got a volume control on the side. And the back's kind of interesting. We got a USB port, maybe to plug a USB stick into. You got an AV out. Unfortunately, it's not HDMI. We got a TF card input, which is an SD card, micro SD card. We got DC, so that's going to be your power in, 5 volts, 1000 milliamps. So basically USB power. And we got another one here that says power. I'm guessing that's a power indicator. And if we look on the back of the box, you'll also notice that it comes with a little controller as well. So that's pretty interesting. 64-bit gaming machine. Well, maybe. It's got a 4.3-inch full view TFT screen. Supports many different game formats, including, which are not mentioned on here, Master System and Game Gear. Okay, there's a large capacity storage inside, yeah, plus SD card support. Lessons, music, pictures, support TV out. Supports 26 kinds of languages. All right. So in the box, we've got console, gamepad, AV cable, USB cable, and a user manual. So let's open this beauty up and see what it's like inside. So taking off the slipcase, we get a fairly tidy box. Oh, opens this way. And yeah, I mean, this is packed pretty well. With the manual here on the top. Retro Arcade. Opens out into like a mini poster style manual. So we've got Chinese on that side and English on this side. Okay, how about the device itself? Let's take a look. Okay, first of all, we got the cables jammed down here. It's the AV cable. It's a USB Mini cable. Maybe the gamepad. Let's see if we can get this out of the box. Let's put the box over here. I mean, it's well packed. Oh, it's got 2 gamepads. So that's pretty cool. 2 gamepads there. And the actual console itself. Let's just put all the packaging down there. Okay, there it is. Alright, first impressions are it's pretty solid. Yeah, no flexing in there. It's got a widescreen monitor on it, so all your games are going to be stretched. I really do hope it has the option to put them back to 4:3 ratio. Let's see, the actual joystick on it. Oh no, that is not good. That is a pure analog stick. Yeah, that is basically a thumbstick of a game controller. In fact, you can see in there, I don't know if you can see it close up here, but it is basically just an analog thumbstick switch in there. How about the buttons? Yeah, to be expected. Not so bad. Start and select buttons there as well. And a little Retro Arcade sticker on the front. Okay, around the back we actually have 2 USB sockets. These are going to be for connecting up the joypads, because as you can see, they terminate in a USB. Okay, and we've got the power in. And the other one is the power switch. Looking around the bottom of it, we can see it actually has a battery in it. Okay, let's see if we can get that open. Oh, it's screwed in. Alright. Let me get the mini screwdriver out. Alright, so there is the battery. So this thing is rechargeable by the looks of it, so you can play it on the move, unlike SNK's machine. The battery inside is a 2200 milliamp battery. Okay, so that should give us quite a while on it. Let's put it back in there. I wonder if it's got any juice. Let's power it up and see. Oh, it has. It's actually got some power to it. Lovely. Okay, let's change the camera angle and take a look at this thing. So here we are close up to the screen, and I gotta say that TFT screen does look pretty good. Upon switching on the machine, you can see we've got some games already present. And flicking through them, they seem to be Capcom CPS games. Oh, maybe not. There's Rayman 3, Rockman X, F-Zero, Sonic, Gunstar Superheroes. Oh, okay. Seems to be a mixture there. Well, I'll tell you what, let's just quickly jump in and see how the games play. Dinosaurs, that's going to be Cadillac and Dinosaurs. Pressing A seems to start the game. Now you may notice on the screen there's a line up here and there's a little green thing up here. That's actually the screensaver, not on the actual screen itself, the screen protector I should say. And no, I'm not going to take it off because this is not my unit. I'm actually borrowing it from a friend. In fact, my friend's not even seen it yet, so I got to keep it nice and clean for him. There's a couple of air bubbles in that screensaver, which is a shame, but yeah, I'm not going to take it off because it's, as I said, it's not my machine. So let's see, pressing select inserts the coin, pressing start starts the game. Okay. Now one thing we've got to check out is, does this machine have lag? Okay, ready? Now I'm going to press the punch button. No, it seems to be pretty much instant. That's good. The button's actually pretty nice. They're quite responsive. Joystick's shit though. Don't like the joystick. It feels pretty cheap and it's very wobbly. But, you know, it's precise. Well, for this game anyway. Okay, well the emulation seems to be really good. There's no skipped frames and the sound's pretty good as well. Okay, pressing select and start together brings up a menu. Now, let's see, game settings. Okay, we do have a frame skip option, but we'll leave it at 0. Buttons, so we can change the button configuration. We don't want to mess with that. Instant archive. Save states. Okay, so you can save state on this. Okay, well let's save state this one. How'd you save state? Am I save stating there? I don't know if I'm doing anything. Yes, yes, I was save stating. It takes a while to save state. Okay, and let's reset the game. Alright, and let's press select and start. And go to instant archive. See, it says save there, but I'm guessing if I push... Yeah, just push on the joystick and we go to load. Yeah, back to save. So let's see if we can load that save state. Yes, we can. Alright, so save states work pretty good. Now, unfortunately, there wasn't any screen resolution or aspect ratio option in those options. So let's quit. And let's go down here to the main options. So sound setting. Oh, that's just the sound effects for this bit. Backlight timer. Yeah, we'll just keep it always on. Backlight settings. Yeah, put it on max. System info. Okay, apparently the internal memory is 16 gigabytes. That's quite a lot. Okay, TV out mode. NTSC or PAL. Yeah, we're going to put that to NTSC. Yeah, maybe. That wasn't such a good idea. Can we get back out of that? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, bugger. Ooh, that's not a good idea. Let's switch it off and switch it back on. Hopefully we can get the screen back. Thank God for that. Okay. But now. Right, well that is a bit of a shame. We don't really get any screen resolution option. That is a shame. Yeah. Okay, it looks like we're stuck with the widescreen. Let's go to the game option here and see what we've got. Simulation games, transplant games, TF games. That's games which you've got stored on your micro SD card. Here we go. Okay, we've got Arcade, Game Boy Advance, Super Famicom, Mega Drive, Famicom, Game Boy Color, Game Boy. They're in there as defaults. Transplant games, what's that about? Ooh, a few... Amiga. Oh, empty. It supports Amiga. Amstrad CPC, Atari ST, Audio, Commodore 64, and so on. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the other machine emulation capabilities of this. Let's take a look at Game Boy Advance. Here we go. They've all been listed in Chinese. How many games we got in there? A fair few by the looks of it. A lot? Bloody hell. What the? That's a lot of games. What have they done? Put the entire Game Boy Advance library on this thing? Certainly looks that way. Alright, I haven't got a clue what any of it is. Let's just pick one at random. Bloody hell. How many games are on the Game Boy Advance? Oh god, EA, it's going to be shit, isn't it? Road Rash. Oh well, let's give it a try. Alright, straight away, Game Boy emulation. Oh, it's working now. I was going to say the Game Boy emulation looked a bit dodgy there. Or Game Boy Advanced emulation, I should say. Yeah, it is a bit dodgy. Look at that. That's clearly skipping. Alright, Game Boy Advance, not so good by the looks of it. Let's just try one more game just in case. Oh, that seems to work fairly well. Maybe a little bit of screen tearing, maybe. That's not too bad. Okay, let's take a look at Super Nintendo emulation with Megaman X or Rockman X, Japanese version. Select and start to show menu. Okay, it's the same old menu. Alright, no problem. Sound emulation is off. Looks like Yeah, sound emulation's off. It seems to be working fairly decent. A bit of a speed issue, I think. Doesn't seem to be exactly smooth. Oops. Okay, let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at F-Zero. Again, another Super Nintendo game. Yeah, it's definitely got frame issues. Look at that. That looks terrible. Oh shit. Let's see if this frame skip is actually switched on by default. No, it is actually switched off. Alright, well, yeah. Super Nintendo emulation is not good. Yeah, that is pretty bad. But you know what? I reckon you can hack this and put on new emulators. Because it seems to be using the same front end or the same base hardware as the RX-97 or the RS-97. So I reckon you can put new emulators on this thing. Yeah, straight away you can tell the sound is wrong. Speed is good though. Yeah, definitely you should be able to hack this. Okay, I tell you what, let's take a little look at Famicom. Famicom always works. Gameboy Color. Let's take a look at some Gameboy Color. Oh, it's all Chinese again. We'll just pick anything. Oh, Battletoads. Oh, I hate Battletoads vs Double Dragon. Let's see what the game options are. No, the usual ones. Nothing interesting. Well, I mean, at least it's nice that they are actually running in the right screen resolution. So the main reason why somebody would buy this is for the arcade stuff. So let's take a look at Street Fighter Alpha 3 and see how it runs that, because this is a game that, if it does run perfectly fine on this, is definitely worth picking up the machine for. Let's see how loud we can get it. And that is loud. Turn that down a bit. Oh. That's weird, it's set up for 2 coins. Right, where is Sakura gone? There she is. Hang on, the buttons are all messed up. Alright, well you haven't got the 3 punches on the top and 3 kicks on the bottom. They seem to be all messed up, so luckily you can change that in the settings. But yeah, this joystick's horrible for doing moves with. The game itself seems to be moving fairly well. Okay, here we go with an SNK game, a Neo Geo game. Seems to be running this just fine. Sound emulation seems a little bit off though. Let's try another game. Okay, here we go with Captain Tomade, another Neo Geo game. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with the sound emulation. But again, you could probably stick on another emulator to sort that out. It's a classic, Strider. Yep, working very well. Just like Cadillac and Dinosaurs, Final Fight seems to work perfectly well. Okay, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to connect this up to the PC and put some Commodore 64, Amstrad CPS and Amiga games on it and see how they work. So connecting this thing up to the PC didn't actually do anything. The PC just didn't recognize it. So I put a load of games onto the micro SD card and inserted that, and unfortunately none of the Amiga, CPS, Commodore 64 games or anything like that worked. So yeah, the emulators for those games is not built in. So what we're going to do now is try out the actual MIDI controllers that come with the machine. And to be honest, they feel just like the RS-07 console, which confirms that this is basically an RS-97. It feels exactly the same as that does, although the D-pad is a little bit better. So yeah, this can definitely be hacked to add some better emulators. But I also tried some Game Gear, some Sega Master System, some PC Engine, and PlayStation and Nintendo 64 ROMs, and none of them would run. But what I did notice while looking around the actual file directories is some of those Chinese titles which are in the transfer file are actually games which were ported over to the Dingu operating system. And I found Mr. Driller and Hexen. So let's connect up the control pad and play those games with this. Works really well. Don't know what it's a port from, mind you. Probably the PC version. Definitely not the PC version, because I had a Sonic the Hedgehog sound effect in it. Looks like it's a homebrew version. And here's the device running Hexen. Let's just start up with some joystick controls, because this joystick is an analog stick, but I don't think it's going to give us analog controls. No, as you can see, it's acting purely as a digital stick. Yeah, well, that kind of makes playing Hexen a little bit more difficult, considering it should be played with analog mouse controls. But it's not too difficult, actually. Pressing the button over here, we get a map. Okay, now one thing you're probably all wondering is how good is the video out on this thing? Well, I'll tell you what. Oops. Let's connect it up to the video capture card and find out. So what is nice to see is once you connect it up to the video capture card, it actually does go back into the correct aspect ratio, which is great. Okay, so let's get UN Squadron running. I'm also happy to say that there doesn't seem to be any additional lag on the controls. I mean, I'm sure there is additional lag there, but it's definitely not noticeable. Doesn't seem to be any screen tearing either, so that's a good sign. Unfortunately, we do have all the composite video artifacts on the screen, which, yeah, unfortunately don't make it look as good as it could have been. So there we have it, the retro arcade unit. Very interesting device. This is, as I've mentioned many times already, an RS-07, basically in a new case. The case itself is fairly good and is very comfortable to use. The stick, as mentioned, is a bit on the floppy side. It's not that good, to be honest. It would have been better with a digital stick, but instead we just got an analog thing. The buttons themselves, while not amazing, are fairly reasonable. And yeah, the build quality is pretty much what you'd expect, rock solid. But the added bonus is the fact that it is truly portable. I can take this anywhere I want and play it with the built-in battery. How long that battery lasts is another thing, but I'm sure it's going to last quite some time, being 2,100 milliamps. But yeah, I mean, it's fairly good. Now, the problem with this is the other emulators on here are not that good. Game Boy Advance is so-so. The regular Gameboy Color it's okay. Mega Drive's got sound issues. Super Famicom has sound issues. It doesn't play Neo Geo games properly. There are a few Neo Geo files on here, but it doesn't actually play real Neo Geo ROMs. But with this basically being an RS-97, I'm pretty sure this can be hacked, just like the RS-97 could be. And if that's the case, you can put PlayStation emulators on here, far better Mega Drive, far better Super Nintendo emulators, and emulators for many other machines as well, and basically have yourself a very good and pretty impressive arcade cabinet, mini arcade cabinet. But as it stands, as with most things from China, it's lackluster. It's missing a lot of features which it should have built in from the factory. But they always do things on the cheap, just throw any old crap on there, just get it out into the shops. Seems to be the thing. Anyway, these are pretty expensive. I think this one, when I bought it, was $78 with shipping included. It may be a bit cheaper now, so I'm going to put the link in the video description down below, so check that out if you want to buy one of these. Until next time, keep on gaming and enjoy your games.